Hi, my name is Jingyi. I'm the presenter for the paper BubbleCam Engaging Privacy in Remote Sight Assistance. This work was completed in collaboration with Yu, Zhang, Sooyeon, Syed, Billah, and Carroll. Remote Sight Assistance, or RSA in short, is an assistive technology for people with visual impairments, where they use a smartphone app to call a remote-sighted person and share their live camera feed. The remote-sighted person or assistant interprets the live camera feed and provides help to the user through natural conversations. Be My Eyes exemplifies RSA services. Now let's watch a video from Be My Eyes to better understand the RSA system.
Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Carroll. Is it more present?
Although RSA services offer comprehensive help, they come with a drawback. Visually impaired users may reveal private things accidentally beyond the object of interest, such as medical record, passport, boarding pass, W-2 form, and family photos. The ideal way to mitigate this privacy concern is to detect and obscure any sensitive information. However, this strategy relies on users' subjective interpretations of what constitutes privacy objects. Moreover, we face a big hurdles due to the absence of highly accurate models for identifying private content, plus the limited computing speed on mobile devices for real-time applications. To address these challenges, we make an approximation of the ideal scenario. First, we implemented a distance-based privacy strategy by blurring anything beyond certain distance. While not perfect, this method is feasible to do and valuable to users. Second, we substitute interactivity for static accuracy to overcome the difficulty of defining private items. Building on these ideas, we developed BubbleCam, a high-fidelity prototype designed to conceal objects beyond a certain distance. Here, bubble refers to a 3D space, where only objects inside it are visible to assistants. Cam represents camera. Besides the design of BubbleCam, we made two other contributions. Our exploratory field study brought together totally blind and low vision users, along with assistants, to assess the feasibility and desirability of BubbleCam. The study highlighted two key observations: the emergence of a collaborative approach to privacy preservation between users and assistants, and the successful balance between privacy and utility in RSA interactions. Let's delve into the first contribution, the implementation of BubbleCam. This demonstrates how we apply BubbleCam to RSA paradigm. The user shared the live stream from BubbleCam with the assistant over Zoom. Notably, only user can adjust the distance by swiping a slider, then controlling over the privacy level. Setting the distance to 0 feet completely blocks the camera view, while increasing the distance allows the assistant to see more. To accomplish this, we utilize an iOS device with a LiDAR scanner, such as iPad Pro, to accurately measure the distance between the device and objects. Following that, ARKit is employed to create a buffer which restores the depth values. Next, we design a metal renderer to apply the occlusion color to objects beyond user-selected distance. In BubbleCam, we select radius as a dependent variable to represent the bubble size. This allows users to adjust the bubble size straightforwardly. Also, radius is an intuitive metaphor for 3D space. This single parameter reduces the complexity of defining a 3D space, making it easier for users to understand. To evaluate BubbleCam, we conducted 12 sessions in 2 nonprofit social support agencies, where users are either employees or customers, and assistants joined over Zoom. This setup closely replicates RSA interactions. We mock up 3 scenarios: office space, home environment, and shared social space. These settings are chosen based on previous research to accurately reflect the daily use of RSA services and their associated privacy risks. We contextualize 5 tasks within these scenarios, each task containing a set of foreground and background objects. Users were required to use BubbleCam to perform tasks in the foreground, ensuring these non-sensitive objects were visible to assistants, while concealing sensitive background information. For instance, in the task of reading an unfolded handwritten letter, the letter serves as a foreground object, whereas items like passport or social security number in the background were obscured from the assistants. We conducted 12 sessions in total. Each lasted for 75 to 90 minutes and was divided into 4 parts. First, training. Users and assistants received an overview of the experiment and instructions on using BubbleCam. They were given enough time to practice and ask questions. Second, task rendering. Before each task, users had autonomy to select and arrange objects on the table according to their habits. They could also remove objects they wouldn't usually have during Be My Eyes calls. For example, user 4 chose to remove a passport. Third, we organized a focus group involving both user and assistant to bring all perspectives together. Finally, we conducted one-on-one interviews with each participant to focus on their individual perspectives. We ended up with 3 high-level themes: engagement in privacy, engagement with technology, and engagement between users and assistants. Each theme includes 3 sub-themes. While I cannot cover all in detail, I will focus on key insights from users' privacy in blocking content, engagement with radius, and assisting user-controlled privacy preservation. Privacy is missing in regular RSA interactions, with users having to angle the camera based on the assistant's instructions to get help. BubbleCam, however, introduced a transformative change. 22 participants appreciate its privacy benefits, ensuring they are showing or seeing only the intended content. This feature notably reduced embarrassment for 12 participants, who value the ability to conceal sensitive or personal items. User 11 encapsulated this sentiment. If you're in your house, you may have things around you don't want anyone to see, like clothes or, private clothes. Maybe your house is not clean, and, you don't want them looking at that. So you could just have the bubble to where you want it, and I think that's good. I like that. From the assistant's perspective, 7 assistants appreciate BubbleCam for blocking unnecessary or inappropriate content, enhancing their comfort while helping. Despite prioritizing privacy, BubbleCam did not compromise RSA's core function, assisting users through visual cues from their cameras. Our analysis of BubbleCam's radius settings revealed distinct patterns between totally blind and low vision users. Low vision users typically opt for a smaller radius, usually under 4 feet for all tasks, indicating more focused choices. In contrast, totally blind users prefer the wider radius, often over 4 feet, showing a broader range of selections. This difference in radius selections becomes more noticeable in certain tasks. The reason behind this? Low vision users are more conscious of privacy risks. They carefully adjusted the radius to cover only necessary objects. Meanwhile, totally blind users are less aware of display content and distance. They sometimes unintentionally expanded the bubble too much, exposing more than intended. Despite various interactions with the radius feature, 22 participants note that Bubble can enhance users' autonomy by enabling adjustments in what is shared with assistants. In contrast, assistants could not manipulate or control BubbleCam. User 5 summarized the benefit. Well, what I like most is the fact that I can block out what I don't want people to see. I have that ability to go from 0 to 10 feet. So, the wider the scope, the more people see. The smaller, the less they see. The person can see what you allow him to see, no more, no less. Moving to the engagement between users and assistants, we observed a collaborative effort in maintaining privacy. 11 assistants fully understood and respected users' choices to limit the visibility of their surroundings. Assistants often took the initiative to remind users of privacy risks and suggest radius reductions, and users adjusted accordingly. This cooperation is shown in their interactions. When recognizing a privacy risk, an assistant suggested, "Can you slide the slider to the left?" As the user decreased the radius to 6 feet and asked, "Should I go down?" the assistant encouraged further adjustment. "Yeah, a little more. Could you go more?" Until only the necessary object was visible. These findings lead to discussion on how engagement varies with visual conditions. Low vision users with some sight are more aware of what they display and distances, actively using privacy features. In contrast, blind users' limited content and distance awareness reduces their use of these tools. This reveals a gap between the availability of privacy preservation tools and their underutilization by blind users. In this study, the engagement from assistants bridges this gap through cooperative privacy preservation. Looking ahead, privacy mechanisms for blind users might encounter similar challenge. Ongoing research is crucial to increase blind users' awareness of privacy risks and engagement in privacy management. In this study, we introduced BubbleCam, a privacy-preserving tool for RSA based on a distance-based privacy strategy. Through an exploratory study with 24 participants, we validated its effectiveness in balancing privacy and utility. BubbleCam empowers users by enhancing autonomy and minimizing embarrassment. We are open to any questions. Feel free to reach out for further discussion.